You are Locked On Marlins POSTCAST, part of Locked On Sports Miami on the Locked On Podcast Network. Your team every day.
Bust out the party favors. Let's go and bust out the party supplies because the Miami Marlins busted out the bats. They unpacked the lumber for the first time on the road trip here today. They've now won 4 out of 6, snapping a 2-game losing streak, avoiding the sweep in Oakland as they get it going, and they get it going big today. 12-3 Marlins in the series finale. What is up, Fish fans? My name is Jim Greasehaber. Call me Grease, and it is time for your Locked On Marlins postcast. That's right, after every single game right here on Locked On Sports Miami. After every single game right here, wherever you listen to your podcast, whether that be Spotify, whether that be Apple Music, whether that be iHeart, anywhere, Stitcher, Podbean, you will find me and us right here. Also Locked On Marlins with Peter, and we want to thank you. I want to thank you. And he does too, obviously, for making Locked On Marlins and your Locked On Marlins postcast your first listen every day. We're free. We're available wherever you get your podcasts and on YouTube, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. And this particular show, my friend, is brought to you by Monopoly Go. Game off. We got to talk a lot more about Monopoly Go. This fast-paced game lets you team up with friends for tournaments to unlock awesome prizes like unique stickers for trading, cool playing pieces, and hilarious emojis for taunting your friends. And what's a little, who doesn't want to taunt your friends, right? So download Monopoly Go, now free on Google Play or the App Store. Game on with Monopoly Go, and it was game on for the Marlins today. How about that? You talk about the last couple of days, we were wondering if they had actually packed their bats to go to Oaktown. Well, as it turns out, they did. As it turns out, they busted them out early and often today. Now, remember, they were just coming off that 3-game sweep of the Rockies. Offense getting going, late inning heroics from guys who had been ice cold and others who had just come up to the big league club. Things are starting to go your way. Luis Arraez, your leadoff hitter, is starting to smack the ball all over the field. 2-time defending batting champion, 2-time consecutive All-Star, spraying that ball all over the field at the top of the order. De La Cruz looking good in that 2-hole, and leaving a lot to be desired in the middle. But, obviously that's one bat away. But with their record right now, it's just kind of like that time with the Marlins that you've been used to since the beginning of time as a Marlins fan, which is anybody good who makes any kind of money is gone. Trade bait. That's what they did with Arraez. He went to the Padres, got 4 hits in his first game in San Diego. And as Ron Burgundy would say, ew, San Diego, at least in this case, for taking Luis Arraez from the Marlins. But they did finally unpack their lumber, and they just ended Oakland's 6-game win streak. The Marlins, again, have won 4 out of 6, and what a game it was. What a good game it was for the Marlins. Right away, early on, they break that funk and unpack the lumber instantly. Commissioner Gordon, had 4 hits, including his first home run in 3 weeks. Breaking out of that big-time funk, and Josh Bell, pair of RBI singles. Jonah Bride, not a bridesmaid, driving in 2 runs as the Marlins won for they avoid the series sweep. Unbelievable job by the Marlins. 14 hits, 8 players with at least 1 ribby. That's an RBI. Big difference from a day ago when they got smoked 20-4 here in Oaktown. And, they talked to Gordon after the game, talking about bouncing back. Pretty good. It shows signs of a good team. I think the Marlins can be a good team. And how about the crowd? 12,212. Angel numbers all over the place. Gordon was in a 1-for-21 funk. See what I mean? 1s and 2s everywhere. It had to work out for Gordon. Boyle, though, had a lower back injury, removed after the first. He couldn't throw strikes, and he paid for it. The Marlins put 4 on the board in the first inning. Remember, they put 6 on the board in the first a week ago against the Nationals at home, and they weren't able to win that game. But a big win for the Marlins. And, they just jump out right away, right? In the first. And that's what you want to do, especially when you've been ice cold, you're on the road. You want to bust out that lumber early, and you want to bust out that lumber often. And that's what they did today. Speaking of the Marlins, what a great job by them. Tremendous position they put themselves in. And it just makes you happy as a Marlins fan that they can bounce back like this. that they get production at the top of the order. I mean, look at this team, right? 14 hits. And another thing today is using the bullpen the way that they did. They had 5 guys come in relief and pitch an inning each. Only one of them gave up a run, and that was Foucher. The rest of them pitched pretty good. Sanchez gave up 2 earned runs in 4 innings, but, Smith and Nardi and Bender and Foucher and Villalobos all came in and pitched an inning each, and they were fantastic. Boyle got ripped for the A's. Spence got crushed in relief, as did TJ McFarland. Might as well have thrown Todd McFarland in there in this game. I got jokes, Marlins fans. Rooker, they can't get him out. They're happy to see Rooker gone. 2 for 3 with 2 runs scored today after a couple of bombs in 1 inning yesterday. But, Chisholm went 2 for 4 with 2 runs scored. De La Cruz had a hit and 2 runs scored. 2 for 3 with 2 RBIs for Bell. You know what I'm saying? 2 runs scored for Sanchez, even though he didn't have any hits. Got on base a couple of times, had an RBI as well. 1 for 5 with an RBI and a run scored for Anderson. 4 for 4 with 2 runs scored and 3 RBIs for Nick Gordon, the commissioner. Have a day, my man. 1 for 5 for Brujan. 1 for 5 with a couple of hits and a run scored for Bride. And Bethancourt, 2 hits, 2 runs scored and an RBI. The only Marlin without a hit was Sanchez. Everybody else in the lineup had a hit for this team. They busted out the lumber. You feel good circling the bases. The A's get brought back to reality a little bit, back down to earth. The Oakland A's is just kind of reminds you, hey, you're the Oakland A's. You're not supposed to be winning 6 in a row and 8 out of 9. It just doesn't happen. Oakland used to be a big league sports town. Oakland used to be one heck of a big league sports town. Used to be the home of champions. It used to be the home of the Madden Raiders. It used to be home of the Marcus Allen Raiders before they went to LA, but that's a long story. Anyway, such a legacy for the Raiders. And then, of course, you have the Warriors who went to San Francisco. Now you have the A's playing out the string. No more Reggie Jackson, Joe Rudy, Vida Blue. Yeah, what a team that was, man. And Raleigh Fingers. And then, of course, you had that era with the Bash brothers, McGuire, Canseco, Parker, Henderson, Ricky Henderson, as well as Dave. And you had Stewart and Welchie. And you had the Eck coming out of the bullpen. And then how about the Hudson, Mulder, Zito, Giambi, Tejada A's? But no more. They'll be in San Diego, or rather, what is it called again? Why am I drawing a blank? Oh, Lord, good Lord. Sacramento. Sorry, excuse me. For 3 years, they'll be in Sacramento, Sacktown Roll now, and then they'll be in Vegas along with the Golden Knights and the Raiders. So 2 of the 3 major sport teams from Oakland will have ended up in Las Vegas. And so you might as well just follow that. Just move from Oakland to Vegas. Why not, right? At that point, I feel like that's what everyone should do. But the Marlins show signs, right, of breaking out of this season-long slump. They show signs of getting better and becoming that team we thought they could be earlier in the year. Look, you're never going to replace a guy like Arise at the top of the order. That dude was a 300 hitter, a batting champion, an all-star, an outstanding second baseman, and it is what it is. He's gone. He's gone, and you're just going to have to replace him with what you have and who, is on your roster and in your lineup right now. So what are you going to do? Where you just sit there and feel sorry for yourself. But I like what Skip did. You move Chisholm to the leadoff spot, and now all of a sudden he's a different hitter. Now all of a sudden his approach is different. Now all of a sudden he's more of a get-on-base guy. Use those wheels a little bit more. I like that Skip is willing to do things like this to shake things up with this team, or to kind of, move guys around, chess pieces, right, around the board. And I think that that's an important part for a manager to be able to do when you're looking for a spark, when you're looking for any spark. And Chisholm got it going today. And Gordon had a huge game. And look, Gordon's a great player, man, when he gets going. So that's a guy you really want to see get hot. You really want to see. And look, they're going to play the Dodgers, one of the best teams in baseball, one of the highest payrolls in the history of mankind. Everything's deferred for 794 years. And Ohtani and all these other guys coming in can just keep getting paid. And their grandchildren will be getting their paychecks by the time the contracts are done. But it is what it is until they put a stop to this in Major League Baseball. But one thing I can promise you, you're going to get competitiveness. You're going to get scrap. You're going to get fire from this Miami Marlins team. And those Dodgers pitchers are going to get worked. They're going to get into some deep counts. I have a feeling this Marlins offense is really starting to roll a little bit. They're starting to see more pitches. They're starting to be a little bit more patient. Young players evolving, growing, adapting to becoming very good major league contributors with the big club. And that's something that you really want to see continue with this Miami Marlins team. You're watching the Locked On Marlins postcast. Marlins 12, A's 4. My name's Jim Greasehaber. Call me Grease, right here on Locked On Sports Miami, right here wherever you listen to your podcasts. On the other side of this break, talk to you more about the Marlins' offensive explosion and what it means heading to La La Land to take on the Dodgers. That's next. Your Locked On Marlins postcast right here on Locked On, your team every single day. And I am really pumped to tell you how you can find, and there's a lot of stuff to do with LinkedIn Jobs. If you haven't used LinkedIn for jobs, are you struggling to close deals? If you're struggling to close deals, B2B selling is tougher than ever, right? And that's why I want to tell you about LinkedIn Sales Navigator. LinkedIn Sales Navigator is a sales intelligence platform that helps professionals effectively prospect and engage high-value customers, drive higher revenue, and increase sales performance. Sales Navigator helps you target the right buyers, surface key signals like job changes or which accounts you should prioritize, and shows you hidden allies so you can find those buyers that are most likely to convert. Fueled by LinkedIn's 1 billion member platform, Sales Navigator gives you the most up-to-date first-party data, enabling you to unlock conversations with the people who matter. That is absolutely right, my friends. Right now, you can try LinkedIn Sales Navigator and get a 60-day free trial at linkedin.com/lockedon. That is linkedin.com/lockedon, LOCKEDON. For a 60-day free trial, let LinkedIn Sales Navigator help you sell like a superstar today. Just go to linkedin.com/lockedon to get started. And how about that? LinkedIn Sales Navigator. And of course, we've been talking a lot about Monopoly Go for a while here, all right? And you know that there's no secret here. Show on, game on, however you want to put it. We have to pause right here to talk about Monopoly Go. That's right. I know what you're saying. Hey, come on, Grease. You know what? The game's over. You're doing the show. Just keep talking about Monopoly Go. That's right. You already talked about that. I did already talk about it, but there's so much good stuff in this game. In Monopoly Go, you can team up with friends for time tournaments where you work together to build up each other's boards. The more you win together, the more awesome prizes you unlock. As friends, you can sing Kumbaya. And there's so much to get. You can get unique stickers, right, that are so cool. You can trade with friends, complete albums for big prizes, cool new playing pieces to travel the boards with, hilarious emojis for taunting friends when you smash their buildings or heist their vaults. Plus, Monopoly Go feels new and exciting every day with constantly changing tournaments and challenges. A ton include their own mini games. They're unique and they're awesome, like digging for treasure or a robot pachinko machine. And there's always something new timed events-wise that help you win big, like massive multipliers for everything you win or rent frenzies. There's always something fun to discover in Monopoly Go. So get off the bench. Go download it now for free on Google Play or the App Store. Game on, Monopoly Go. Ooh, that's fun. I'm enjoying that. It's a good time right there. Marlins 12, A's 3. I think I said Marlins 12, A's 4. Come on, post-game show host. Get the score right. Anyway, 12-3 Marlins over the A's. They get 4 runs in the top of the first inning to chase Oakland starter, Joe Boyle, who they try to blame it on a bad back, but he gave up 4 earned runs, 3 walks, only 1 hit in the first inning. And, it was a big one with 2 on and 2 out. It was Gordon's home run, his first in 21 at-bats. He also had a single. He also had a double. He was a triple shy of the cycle, and he had a big, big game. And again, if you're just tuning in, Gordon, 4 for 4, 3 ribs, 2 runs scored, a home run, a walk as well, reaching base all 5 times today. How about that? Hot young man, 2 for 5 with 2 runs scored and an RBI for Bethancourt. Huge game for Bell. 2 for 3 with 2 RBIs, 2 for 4 with 2 runs scored and an RBI for Jazz Chisholm Jr. at the top of the order, taking over there for Luis Arraez after Arraez got traded to San Diego. So the Marlins offense erupts today. And this is something, it's been feast or famine a little bit lately. But again, they have won 4 of 6, coming off the 3-game sweep of the lowly Colorado Rockies and then the Arraez trade and then the first 2 games of this series. This team allowed 20 runs yesterday. We were talking about what a disgrace it was. 20 runs, 3 pitchers, 4 earned runs, 4 earned runs. You know what I'm saying? Oh, I'm sorry, 2 of them gave up 8 earned runs each, and then the third one gave up 4 earned runs. They got crushed. And then today, the exact opposite, right? 6 pitchers for the Marlins, 3 runs for the A's. 2 of them were allowed by Sanchez in the first 4 innings. But then after that, it was a 0 from Smith. It was a 0 from Nardi. It was a 0 from Bender. It was a 0 from Villalobos. But right before Villalobos, the A's scored a run off Fletcher. But when you look at what the Marlins pitching staff has done lately, it's been very uneven. It's been very inconsistent, just like their offense. And that's what you get with a young team. That's what you get with a team where you're rolling the dice with a low payroll. And you really need every single dude who you sign and who you pay to play up to capability based on projections to evolve and improve and grow and build and put up bigger numbers year by year. And if one player is off or 2 players are off from those projections, from those numbers, from those expectations, guess what happens? The whole thing can go whoosh. This is not the Dodgers organization where 5 guys could go on the DL and they still have 8 all-stars, for example. And I'm just throwing numbers out there, but Yankees, Orioles, same thing. The Braves, right? Lose a couple of key players. The Rays lose a couple of key players. And what happens? You still have enough firepower to be a contender, to be an elite team in Major League Baseball. But when you have a low payroll and when you have maxed out every dollar that you can spend, and that's what happens with the Miami Marlins, you max out every dollar that you can spend, then every single player who you bring in has to max out their production and their projections in order for that payroll to work, in order for you to make that run, like the Marlins and Diamondbacks both did last year. For example, it happens every year. You see that team with a lower payroll. You see that team with the young kids who don't know any better. You see that team who puts it all together and they get max production from all those lower paid guys on their payroll. And it all comes together, lightning in a bottle. And you see it happen all the time. Marlins last year. This year, not so much. And that's what happens when you don't get those projected numbers or higher. And when guys get hurt, 47% of their innings pitched last year were on the DL as recently as 4 days ago, on the IL, whatever you want to call it now. So yeah, there it goes. And when guys get hurt, that's a big, big part of that equation, right? When key contributors or projected key contributors get hurt, then you have a big, big gap that's formed. You have to try to fill it any way that you can, and then other guys go in there. And in a position like this is where you end up, you learn a lot about some key players. Like, for example, Chisholm in a leadoff spot looks like a fit long-term. And you would never have known had Arise not been traded that he could go up there and play the way he is right now. It's good. He's doing great up there, right? He's doing great up there. And we know he's done it and he can do it. So the other thing about it is, excuse me, the young hitters gain confidence when they start moving around in the order a little bit, hitting in different spots and being able to contribute and perform in each of those spots. The versatility of an offensive player, and it really helps with their confidence as well. So I like what they're doing. I love that Skip is so eager and willing to move guys around and do anything he can and be a little unconventional and throw a ton of pitchers and whatever he has to do. And you know what? I love throwing a lot of pitchers. I love that trend in Major League Baseball. Why? I was a guy who was a hell of a hitter. I'll tell you that. But I'll tell you why I like that. Because hitters thrive on getting used to pitchers. And it usually takes hitters a couple of times through the order to get used to someone's A stuff and be able to adapt and hit it. Unless the pitcher's just off and too much in the zone. You know how there's a lot of factors. But it takes you a while to adapt and adjust to a pitcher as a hitter. And when you keep throwing these guys that can go in there and go one inning, the hitters never get a chance to adapt to these pitchers. They never see the same pitcher twice. It's a big advantage, in my opinion, for the guy on the bump to be able to do that. And I think that you see that more and more in Major League Baseball. And that might be one of the reasons why you're seeing so much of that in Major League Baseball. You are watching your Locked On Marlins postcast right here on YouTube, Locked On Sports Miami. You're listening to your Locked On Marlins postcast right here, wherever you get your podcasts. Keep on coming back for more. Spotify, Apple Music, iTunes, Stitcher, Podbean, wherever you get your podcasts. We are here, and I am really pumped to be here with you. And I want to remind you before we hit the break and then come back and wrap up the show that if you're watching Fox, if you're watching ESPN on your TV all day and you have to turn down the volume with all the shouting, it is time to make the switch to Locked On Sports Today, a free 24/7 sports streaming channel program for you every day to bring you the biggest stories without all the screaming, except for me right now. Locked On Sports Today brings you can't-miss analysis, opinions, and news. I'm just so excited about it. Streaming 24/7 on YouTube or the free Amazon Fire TV channels app, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day right here. Locked On. We are going to take one more break, come back and wrap things up. Marlins 12, A's 3, 3-game series in the books. The Fish win for the 4th time in 6 games and snap a 2-game losing streak all at the same time. We come back, take a look ahead at the Dodgers series. The LA Dodgers and the Marlins starting tomorrow. 4 games. I don't want to make too much of it, but David, Goliath, the underdog, you know the whole thing. What a Hollywood story. How can the Marlins have one? We'll let you know in just a minute. But first, every great investor knows all about Yahoo Finance. Wouldn't it be great if you could see all of your investment and retirement accounts in one place? With Yahoo Finance, you can consolidate your views from multiple accounts into one hub and access the expert analysis you need to lend your entire portfolio with confidence, to tend to your entire portfolio, with confidence. Let's get straight to the point. You want to grow your portfolio to deal with the rising cost of inflation, pay off your debt or your mortgage, pretty much anything standing in your way to financial freedom, right? Well, with Yahoo Finance, you can get access to the news, data, and tools that you need in order to help reach that financial freedom. When it comes to your financial future, I mean, look, you don't want to mess around with it, right? Your financial future, you think you've done it all. You've saved, you've researched, you've invested all you can. Now you need to take those investments to the next level by using what every financial great uses, Yahoo Finance. For more than 25 years, Yahoo Finance has been the brand behind every great investor. Whether you're a seasoned investor or looking for that extra guidance, Yahoo Finance gives you all the tools and data you need in one place. They're the number one finance destination. So much there with Yahoo Finance. For comprehensive financial news and analysis, visit the brand behind every great investor, Yahoo Finance. The number one financial destination, yahoofinance.com. That's yahoofinance.com, yahoofinance.com. I think I said it enough times, right? yahoofinance.com as we wrap it up here on your... What day is it anyway? It's Sunday. Happy graduation to my son, Jake Grieshaber. Just a 3.71 from Arizona State University in neuroscience. That's all. We had a big party to celebrate my boy today, just as the Marlins had a huge party by the Bay. 12-3, they bust out the whooping sticks. 4 runs in the first, 1 in the second, and then the bullpen took care of the A's from there, silencing those red-hot bats of the Oakland Athletics. Yes, you heard me right. Silencing the red-hot bats of those Oakland Athletics and getting back into the win column after being just bombarded in the first couple of games of this series, 20-4, for example, yesterday. They come back today and win it 12-3. 2 for 4 with a run scored and an RBI for Chisholm at the top of the order, replacing Luis Arraez there. 1 for 3 for De La Cruz with 2 runs scored and 2 walks in the 2-hole. Bell's 2 for 3 with 2 RBIs at number 3. The cleanup hitter Sanchez, the only Marlins hitter without a hit on the day, but he did get on base twice, actually, on fielder's choice and score 2 runs. So he had some things to contribute. Anderson 1 for 5 with a run scored and an RBI. Gordon in left field 4 for 4 with 2 runs scored, 3 runs driven in, and his first home run in 21 at-bats, a triple shy of the cycle for him as well. And what a game for him to break out of that slump. Rujan 1 for 5 with an RBI. Bride 1 for 5 with a run scored, 2 driven in, and Bethancourt, the catcher, 2 for 5 with 2 runs scored and 1 driven in. As for the bullpen, they went nuts today. Sanchez, the starter, 4 innings pitched, and Sixto with 2 runs, both earned on 3 hits, walked 3 as well. Not a good start for him. ERA goes up to 7.5. But the win goes to Smith, a scoreless inning in the 5th, and then Nardi, and then Bender, scoreless innings as well, before an earned run for Foucher, and then Villalobos with a scoreless ninth inning to finish it off as the Marlins go to 10-26. They finally hit double digits, baby. Double digits for the Miami Marlins. Look out, world. Here they come. They're 10-19, 5-11 on the road. The A's go to 17-18, 9-10 at home. Now, remember, the Marlins will take on the Dodgers tomorrow in Los Angeles in the first of 4, and the Dodgers are one of those teams that are buying everything. The Dodgers are one of those teams that is literally sitting there and paying guys until their grandchildren will have to cash the checks, and that's what the Dodgers are all about right now. You know what I'm saying? That is what the Dodgers are all about right now, and it is a shame to see such a great organization reduced to stooping to such lows to do things like this. Well, anyway, Roddery Muñoz will pitch for the Marlins, number 71 on the jersey and number 1 in terms of a prospect, number 1 in terms of the electric stuff. This dude is on fire, and he's tied for the franchise lead or record number of strikeouts in back-to-back games to start a career in the same season. Yes, I said that right. And then Walker Buehler. Anyone? Buehler. Ben Stein. Ferris Bueller stay off. Anyone? Bueller, POSTCAST, Bueller. Anyway, Walker Buehler will face Roddery Muñoz tomorrow, the Marlins and the Dodgers. First of 4 in La La Land, Chavez Ravine up that hill. Such a beautiful sight to see in the city of La La Land. So the Marlins get back into the win column, 12-3 today. You'd like to see Chisholm doing some things in that leadoff spot that I really think he's gonna settle into that role very nicely. And look, he's got no choice because, Arias is not coming back. So Chisholm looking really good in that leadoff spot. De La Cruz solid in the 2-hole, man. Spraying the ball all over the field. 2 walks and 2 runs scored today. That's exactly what you want out of your number 2 hitter. Bell with the 2 hits and the 2 RBIs. Got that average creeping up closer toward the Mendoza line. He's at 197 right now. And some of these other hitters on the Marlins roster, I mean, look at Bethancourt. 2 hits, 2 runs today. The average all the way up to 0.070 right now. Brujan's all the way up to 286, almost 300. And you had Gordon off the schneid. He's at 207. You go 4 for 4 and you're at 207 at this point in the season, you know you were really struggling. But a big win for Miami. Can they keep the momentum going against that huge payroll of the Dodgers? I mean, just taking a look at that team, it's crazy, right? The Marlins, the Dodgers, and the things that come to mind with the discrepancies in the payrolls and the recent success for the 2 teams. The Dodgers 23-13, they're first in the NL West, and you got Mookie Betts playing like an MVP. Shohei Ohtani's got 8 home runs already, hitting 364, and the 10 home runs. Excuse me, he's on a tear right now. By the way, you might be seeing Shohei. He hit 2 home runs against the Braves today. The Dodgers just swept the Braves with a 5-1 win. They're on fire right now. Yamamoto's killing it. The Dodgers are the Dodgers, right? So we'll have to see. Regardless of what happens in this series, though, be a lot of fun to be watching them and talking about them for the next 4 days, starting tomorrow. We will be live with your Locked On Marlins postcast right here tomorrow after that game. And what time does that game start? Let me just get that for you right now before we bounce on up out of here. Marlins and Dodgers tomorrow. First pitch is Monday, May 6th. Come on, show me what time. It will be 7:10 p.m. No, that's 10:10 p.m. because that's 7:10 p.m. local time in LA when the Marlins take on the Dodgers tomorrow night. Roddery Muñoz, Walker Buehler will be here after. I'm Jim Greasehaber. Call me Grease, and it'll be your Locked On Marlins postcast. Until then, Marlins fans, I want to remind you that I love you, and I thank you for being here every day. I also want to remind you to keep your game tight and your mind right, Fish fans. We are out.